So like I explained before, in doing any type of pass, your goal, lay down. Your goal when you're passing somebody's guard is to get into this box, right? And I keep explaining over and over. Removing somebody's knees from their chest, we create this box that we can pass, right? But what I haven't explained is somebody's elbow. Technically, that elbow is protecting me from passing their box as well, right? So in the first leg drag, I was able to get under this elbow and remove the knee, making this perfect box that I can pass the guard, right? But now what's going to happen is I'm going to remove the knee, creating this spot for me to pass. But now her elbow is still in the box that I cannot get under. And this is troublesome. This is troublesome for me. You know why? Because whenever I remove her elbow and her elbow is here, she can create this frame on my chest. And when she creates this frame on my chest, what is happening? It's making me not able to connect to this box on her body, and it's making me lose my connection of my body to her hips. So her knees could come back into place, and now I lost the box to pass her guard. Okay? So what we're going to learn now is how to deal with this arm and elbow if I can't open it. And what we're going to learn is if I can't open this elbow, I'm going to have to close this elbow. Okay? Now, what you're going to learn is there's multiple ways that I could alter my opponent's body to that one direction. And I'm going to be showing you guys many leg positionings and altering of my grips that will help me accomplish this, okay? So the first way I showed you was just dragging the leg with the near hip, grabbing the collar, and coming up. Now what I'm going to show you is another grip I could use on top of what I'm using just to reinforce her body being that direction. Okay, so I'm going to be here. I'm going to get the grip. I'm going to grab here. I'm going to get the leg here. I'm going to drag the leg. I'm going to bring her down. I'm going to bring my knee under her hip like so. Now once I get here, I'm going to grab her knee. I'm going to back up. I pull the hip. I drag. Once I get here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the collar. But I'm going to feel like her knees are coming up this way a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on my head, and I'm going to cup her back hip like so. When I cup the back hip like this, what it helps me do is turn her body this way, like I was using my hook. But now I'm using my hand to help me. So when I come up now, it's really strong because she can't bring her hip the other way again. So now I'm using this motion, but I'm using this hand to help me scoop her hip up to keep her body this way. Okay, so I'm here. I bring her hips here. I drag her leg. I could be holding here. I just drag. I get the collar. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to use my hook to bring her knee to her chest, get this grip. Now I'm going to come up and pass the guard. Okay, so it's we get the grip here. I get to this spot. I drag the leg. I get the hip grip. I pull. I go to the floor. I bring my knee under her hip. I go here. I back my leg up. I drag her hip like so. Now I'm going to grab the collar. I'm going to close my elbow. And I'm going to get my head to her ribs. But I'm going to feel like her hips are turning into me a little bit. Once I feel this, look how I use my hook up and I scoop the bottom hip like this. Once I scoop her bottom hip, now I have my whole arm under her hip to help me pull her body down to alter her spine back in that direction. So I can come up now and pull her body this way. And now I can pass the guard. You see, so this arm helps me keep her hip this way. It's really strong because I have my whole arm into it. This way. Sweep her. I get here. I put pressure. I drag. I get the collar. I go to this spot. I get on my knee. I hook her hip like so. Now I'm going to stretch my leg and come up exactly the same way as before to pass her guard.
So you see how I get under her hip? All I'm doing is I drag, I go on my head, on my knee, and now I can lift her body up with my hip grip. This near side hip grip helps me lift her body up. So now I can scoop her bottom hip. Once I scoop the bottom hip, I stretch. And now I can pass the guard.
And she cannot turn into me. So it's so strong. You see? So, and okay, so we just went over another way for me to alter her spine in that direction, enabling me to remove her knee from her hip, right? So now I'm going to show you guys another variation. Now again, there's so many different leg variations and leg pummeling and exchanges I could do here, but right now we're just sticking to a near side hip grip and the basic leg drag hook. There's a crab ride hook, there's an X hook, we're going to go over all of that. But right now we're just sticking with the basic concept of the basic leg drag hook. And I'm just going to show you guys another leg positioning that we could use to alter her spine in that direction. Okay, so we're going to be here. Same exact thing as before. I want you guys to drill this setup a lot. It's so important. Here, you fall down. Again, here. But now what I'm going to do is if we could just change sides. So I can show that on this side. Yep. Lay down. Yep. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have my knee under her body like this, and her knees are going to be on her chest a little more. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use my knee, my leg drag hook to push her knee to her chest. I'm going to remove my foot from here, and I'm going to, instead of being over here to step on the floor, I'm going to go on my head like this. And I'm going to put my foot under her hip like so now. Now, notice where my foot is. My foot is hooking her chest like so. And now what she's going to do is, she's going to remove my foot from her body. When she does this, what happens? When she removes my foot from her body, it enables me to drag her leg like so. Because every time she uses this arm, it opens this side of her hip. So that's something I want you guys to think about. Every time she uses this arm, it enables me to open this knee. Okay? So if we can access this arm and bait her to use this arm, we're able to open her knee and enable us to leg drag her. So I'm going to be in a leg drag, and instead of my knee being here, I'm going to go on my head, and now I'm going to put my foot up like this in this spot. Now I'm going to put pressure on her like this, putting her knee to her chest. She's not going to like this. She's going to remove the foot. When she removes the foot, now I'm going to drag, connecting the ASIS to her leg. Again, now I got the collar. Her elbows in, closed, doesn't matter. I push her elbow to her body. I come up. Okay. But you see, start noticing now, I'm showing you guys many different ways that we could accomplish the same goal that we did before. We're here. I drag the leg. I go here. I put my knee under her hip. I have my hand under her knee. I'm going to go on my head. And my elbow, like I was before, I'm going to place my foot on her ribs like so. Now, I'm going to explain after. There's so many positions we could do once we place our foot on her ribs like this. And that's what I'm going to show you guys after. But for now, we're just going to use it as a bait to get the leg drag. So she removes this. The second she removes it, her hip collapses. It's very easy for me to drag her leg when she uses this arm. Okay? So I bring my foot up. She starts taking it out. I drag the body. I bring my head up. I pass the guard. Okay, so we're going to be here. Her knees are going to be on her chest strong. I'm going to feel like, okay, it's hard to do the leg drag because her knees are on her chest.
So all I'm going to do is go on my head. I'm going to put my foot here. And notice what also I did. When her knee is on her chest, she's here. But when I put my foot like this, look what happens to her knee. Because I created a wedge in between her knee and her ribs. So now she can't keep her knee to her chest. So she's going to remove my wedge so then she can. But when she does that, she screws herself on this side. Okay? So her knee's on her chest. I go here. I create this wedge, blocking her knee from going to her chest. She takes my foot off. Now I can drag. Now I do exactly like before. Head to ribs, collar. Creating this bar, connecting her legs to this line of my body. And now I can come up and pass the guard. Two sides. Here, knees to chest. Here, back away. So her knees are on her chest. I can't remove it. Bring your knees to your chest. I go on my head. I create a wedge of my foot in between her legs. She removes it. She removes it. I drag. Now I got the collar. My head comes up. I pass the guard. So she's here, knees to chest strong. You see, I feel like it's awkward for me to drag her leg. Bring your knee to your chest strong. Yes, I can't. It's hard. So when I do the wedge, now I remove this knee from her chest already. So now she takes it off. I drag. Now I can come up. Sorry. Inside. And look, every time I'm doing the leg drag, when I use my hand here, I'm pulling her hip to me. You see? Here.
So you're using the momentum, right?
I'm using the momentum of you peeling my foot to open this hip. So I scoop under, I get here. I want to move her knee from your chest, but it's strong. You see, I feel her knees are strong. I go on my head, I put my foot in. She peels, I jet.
Okay guys, so now what I'm going to show you is an alternative variation from before to, again, accomplish our goal. Bringing her spine and her hips in one direction, okay? And I'm going to touch on, again, this arm of her body. When I am able to access this arm at all, it compromises her connection of her knee to her hip on this side because of this arm. So I'm going to be here again. And I'm going to be in the leg drag. Just come in. Yeah, here. I'm going to get to the leg drag here. I'm going to have my knee under her hip. I'm going to go on my head. I'm going to put my foot like so. And remove my leg again. Look, when she removes my leg, I'm able to drag her hip. So instead of this time getting my foot on her ribs like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be in a leg drag, and I'm going to see her arm is close to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post my foot on the floor, and I'm going to hook her arm like this. I'm going to go on my head. I'm going to keep her arm hooked. Now that I kept her arm hooked, I'm going to be able to remove this the same exact way. So I hook her arm. Now I can drag her hip. Now I can come up the same exact way. I'm just going to catch that arm. Okay? So let's see inside. I'm going to be here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go for a leg drag here, getting my knee under her hip like this. I'm going to push my foot on the floor, thinking about doing this, but instead of doing this, I'm going to see her arm is close to me. It's over here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to push my foot on the floor. I'm going to just hook her arm like this. Once I hook her arm, now I can drag her leg the same exact way as before, and now I can come up and pass the guard. Yeah. I post on my leg.
My knee is on her chest right now. I'm just here looking to hook. I'm just walking my foot. So I'm here, I walk my foot, I go on my toes. Now I can hook. The second I can hook, I can drag her leg now. And her arm is stuck. So she can't bring her hips the other way now. You see, it keeps her very stuck. Now I can close my elbow, bring my head to her rib, and I can come up. So you guys see, when I go on my head like this, it enables me to walk my foot up. So I can bring my foot to her ribs, or I can hook, or I can back my leg up to drag her hip. But the walking on my toes is what makes me able to do this, because I can get on my knee. You see, once I'm on my knee, I'm able to balance myself better, okay? So here are my arms under her hip, I go on my knee to hook her arm. Once I hook her arm, I try to chop her elbow to this side. Now I can drag. Now I can grab the collar, close her knee, head to the ribs, and I can come up here. Again, the concept of me connecting this arm and her hip. Every time she uses this arm, she loses power in this hip from staying closed. So it's easy to open her hip. Here. Okay guys, so what you're going to notice is when I'm doing this position, a lot of people will react this way, and I'm going to show you exactly how to address it. You continue with the same path, we just alter our grips just a little bit, but we're going to be able to get to the same spot, okay? So I'm going to be here, and I'm going to get to the leg drag. I'm going to get under here. I'm going to be very tight here. But this time, when I start dragging the leg and I want to get to the collar, my opponent's going to keep my sleeve like this. So I'm going to feel it difficult for me to let go of this to grab her collar, right? Because she's holding my sleeve. So I'm going to be holding the leg like this. All I'm going to do is technically stand up here, keep my sleeve when I start dragging. Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it against her, and now I'm going to control her hip like this. Every time she holds my sleeve, I'm going to go to her back hip like this. Okay? So now I'm going to drag her leg, and now if I can get on top of her elbow, I'm going to pass here. If I can't, open your elbow here, and now sit up on your, no. Sit, yeah, like this. Now what's going to happen here is I'm already controlling her back hip. So all I need to do is place this knee on this side of her hip as she's sitting up. So all I'm going to do is bring my knee to this hip. And now I can take the seatbelt and attack the back here. Okay, you see? This is very common because a lot of people try to do the straight arm and move their hips away. But once we connect to that back hip, just like you learned in the first series, when the person removed the leg, I was able to follow them and come up. You're able to take the back every time. So we're here. I'm going to hold the leg. I'm going to go here. I'm going to bring my leg under. She's going to hold my sleeve. So now I can't grab the collar, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to technically stand up, drag the leg, and I'm going to try to come up, but now straight your arm and sit up a little bit. Yes, here. Now I can grab her hip like this. Now once I grab her hip, I can come up here. If I can close your elbow. If I can't close your elbow, frame like your elbow open like this. Yes. Now I'm just going to bring my head behind her shoulder, connect my knee to the back of her body. And now I'm going to go for the back here. So you see I can't come up right now because I can't grab the collar. So all I do is control the back hip here. Once I have the back hip, I come up, my head on her shoulder. I place my knee behind her body. If I can close her elbow, I can pass the guard here. If I can't close the elbow, come back up. Now she's going to come up even more to follow me. Like sit up. Like, yeah, stand up. Yes, like this. Come up more. Now I get my knee here, you see? The more she comes up, the more I bring her body this way. And then I can take the back. So every time she's here, and she gets this grip on me, she starts pushing me away. Yes, like this. Every time she does this, all I do is I drag, I get the back of her body. Now I'm just going to connect my knee where this hand is. Here. Now I can take the back, or if I can close her elbow, I can pass. So come back. Now up. Yes, my knee goes behind her hip. Now I have her back every time because I'm dominating both sides. Once I control both her shoulders, I can take the back. So she's holding my sleeve here. It doesn't matter. All I do is I'm here, I get the grip here, and now I can take the back here. If I can't let go of this sleeve here, I unhook this collar. And now I place my foot in here, and I take the back here. Again. So I'm trying to go like jack. I get here, now sit up because she's trying to move away from me. But you don't have to face me a little bit. Yeah, here. So now I come up. All I do is I cup the hip. Here. If I could sweep her, awesome. I can pass. If I can't, come back up and you're still putting weight here. Yes. I'm just going to move my knee where this hand is. My back knee is just going to go where this hand is. Here. Now move. You see, now she can't because I could climb my hand here, or I could go to the seatbelt here. And I can keep this. Okay. So you see, I don't have the collar to help me pose, but I have this grip. So I keep pushing it down, I go on my head, and now I can come up the same exact way to get to the back of her hip. To either close the elbow, if I can't close it, it's open, then I go around it, going around her shoulder like this. Now my chest is to her back, now I can go to the back. Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you another variation based on their reaction. Again, every reaction they do, we have to have an answer. So this time my opponent is going to be blocking me from getting to the collar. She's going to then underhook my leg. What is this underhook going to enable her to do? It's going to enable her to keep her knees to her chest. So instead of me forcing with the other positions we just learned, I'm going to show you a variation to the other positions and what we can do to counter what she's doing and use what she's doing actually against her. Okay, so we're going to be here. Let's actually face this way because I want them to see your reaction. Yeah. So I'm going to be here. I'm going to get the leg jack. I'm going to bring my hips in. I'm going to drag the leg. But now what's going to happen is I want to bring her foot to the floor. So she's going to underhook my leg. And when she does this, notice, I'm not able to alter her spine like I explained in the beginning, where we're able to alter her spine to the floor. Because when she underhooks, she's able to keep her knees to her chest square. So now it's going to be a lot more difficult for me to move her knee off her chest, right? So what am I going to do? what I'm going to do is, instead of me getting to the collar, which I'm not going to be able to because her knee's going to be too strong here, all I'm going to do is drag her leg a little bit and get my elbow on top of her thigh, like so. Now, what I'm going to do is going to grab the belt right on the ASIS, like barrel bowl, like what I explained to you in the first series. I'm going to grab it here. Now what I'm going to do is, her knees are still on her chest. She's still putting pressure. She's still framing my face. I'm going to come up with this pressure here. She's going to keep her knee to her chest. So now I'm going to underhook the bottom of her body, and I'm going to stack her, bringing her knee off her body because she has this underhook. Now I can grab the collar, and now I can put pressure on her shoulder, get the collar, and pass the guard.
But notice, her hips were up when I did this, because when she underhooks, her knee stays on her chest. And what do we know every time her knees are on her chest? We could stack her. We could attempt to take the back, possibly, which we will do in future lessons. But right now, this is a way that we can continue to leg drag past her, even though her knees are on her chest. This is an exception because she's underhooking. We're able to alter, again, she's underhooking. What does that mean? Her arm is activated. This arm is activated. That means we can manipulate this knee away from her body just a little bit to fit my arm in this spot. So then I'm able to come up. Then once I'm up, I have to stack her because her knees are on her chest. If she doesn't like that, she's going to push away, opening the space for me to pass. So again, I get the leg check spot here. I get here. She underhooks my leg. Now her knees on her chest, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to climb my arm like so to get my elbow in front of her leg like this. So now my fist, my knuckles are on the ASIS right in front of her. And now she's underhooking here. She's strong. So I'm going to sweep her coming up like this. Once I come up, I can post my hand on the floor, but I'm going to use my knee to keep her body up like so. Now I can cup her hip. I can grab the collar. Even if she's framing here, I can go under her elbow or on top of her elbow, closing her elbow. And now I pass the guard here. So every time I do this, I'm following the exact rules we learned before. Her knees are on her chest. She's underhooking. Every time this underhook happens, she's altering her knee just a little bit. Now we could climb in front of that. We could come up. And now we're using her stack against her. Her knees to her chest. So I'm here. She underhooks her leg. All I do is I drag. I get my hand here. Once I get my hand here, I'm going to sweep her this way. You see? But now she's going to keep her knees to her chest strong. So if I can, I'll drag. I'll open the elbow and I can pass the guard here. But she's going to be bringing her knees to her chest more. So I could stack her. So I get my hand here. She's bringing her knees to her chest. You see, I can't keep her knee away from her chest. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull her up. I'm going to bring my knee behind her body. I'm going to grab the collar. I can grab the back of the head if I want. I can go here. And I'm going to pass the guard here. Again. See, it doesn't matter how my head ends up. I can end up in an arm triangle. I can end up with my hand underhooking the body. Just following the concept of stacking our hips. Just like you learned, there's so many different variations of my hand positioning. The more I keep her on her shoulder, the more uncomfortable she is here. You see, now I can drag her hip easy. Okay guys, so now what I'm going to show you is how I'm able to connect all these different grips together when we're doing this. I showed you a lot of positions, I showed you a lot of variations, but now I'm just going to recap them a little bit, and then you're going to see how they can all mix together. So lay down. So again, our goal of the leg drag is to alter her spine, and once I alter her spine, it's easy for me to remove her knee from her hip, right? But what's going to happen a lot of times is there's going to be some type of way that she's going to be able to keep her knees to her chest a little more. When she keeps her knees to her chest, remember, I make this under the hip grip like this. That enables me to do that. It also enables me to get this grip here. Okay? So when I feel that her knees are on her chest, I'm going to use that to feed the hip to the other side. I'm going to use it to stack her possibly. And then when she pushes away, now I'm going to use that to bring her knees down. Again, when her knees are on her chest, I can even use my leg as a wedge here on her body. So now she can't keep her knee to her chest. Then, once I remove it, I'm able to bring her knees down, right? So I'm using it many motions. So lay down now this way. Yeah. So I'm here. Lay down. Yep. Her knees are on her chest. Her knees are on her chest like this. Her knees are on her chest. I can hook the bottom hip, right? Now I can drag, and it helps me come up here. Her knees are on her chest. I feel like it's hard for me to drag. I could go up like this, bring my foot up here, push, and then I could stretch here. Her knees are on her chest. I feel like it's hard to move. I can hook her arm like this. Now it's easy for me to drop her knees down, drag here. Her knees are on her chest. I feel like it's hard to move. I can drag her arm to get here. She keeps her knees on her chest. She keeps her knee up like this. I go up. I get the far hip. Now I can come up. Now I can get the collar. Okay? So her knees are on her chest. These are how I'm reacting. If she's pushing away, when she's pushing me away, don't hold my arm, just kick her legs away from me. She's removing this, I'm going to use that to sweep her. I push her knee to her chest, she pushes away. Now I can sweep her and come up. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. I'm doing this, she pushes away. When I'm using her knees against her, now I can do all my stuff here. She pushes away, I go back there. So close your knee now. No, this knee. Bring your knee to your chest. Okay, now she's bringing her knee to her chest. I keep this grip. If I feel like I drag and I can get my elbow in, now I go here. So she's strong. Here, I get here. Collar. If I feel like I'm barely able to get this grip, I come up. Now collar. There you go.